Hi Danilo, it's great to have you here today with us, and thank you for your time and participate in our interview. So before we start, maybe you can tell us a bit about yourself, your role, and your background.
Hi, Jill. Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Really happy that we're doing this now. So my name is Danilo. I am currently the group head of innovation at Generali, large insurance company headquartered in Italy, but very multinational, obviously, as most of you will know. As group head of innovation, I'm responsible of leading our innovation pursuits efforts across the group, which is rather global. And we do this in various manners, both internally and externally, and in a combination of the two. I have my career is basically mainly more in reinsurance than insurance. I joined Generali about 2.5 years ago. Before I was I started in Swiss Re, then I had a stint in Hannover Re, and then I was a bit in Munich Re, a bit of consulting in between. And I think, as most of the people who work in reinsurance, I happened to be in it accidentally. I studied something very different at the University of Cambridge, and then I just ended up there and I stayed. So I liked it, I guess.
So this is why you have such a perfect English. Now I understand. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
So with such an experience that you're having, I think the major question that I have on this research is about the current state of the insurance industry in regards to the valuation of Insurtech companies that was dropping down significantly because of the market sentiment. So the question is, are we sobering, or this is temporary? What do you think is going to happen with these valuations?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's always difficult to speak about the future, right?
Right.
Trying to play the crystal ball now, I think we all agree probably that this drop in valuation was somewhat needed, right? There had been perhaps a bit of a overreading, overexcitement in the market, and sometimes the logics of valuation were really a little bit disjointed from any actual, technical analysis of what was underneath it. Having said that, to be honest, sometimes we have observed it also in the financial markets, right? The companies get crazy valuation and the stock prices go mad, and completely again disjointed from normal analysis of price to book, price to the sales ratio, whatever, right? So is this something that is not going to come back? I'm not sure. It may come back at some point, right? What I think is probably that the valuations will now settle. They're not probably going to get worse than these, right? I think this is a good time, obviously, for investors, because you can be very selective and you can get really good deals, right? I mean, this you teach me that, Jill, right? You can get very good conditions and terms at the moment. But it's also a good moment to shine for the very good startups, right? Because they can stand out and they can really show that they are the ones that deserve to be supported the most. I think this will stay for a while. At some point, as it is always, right, in economic and financial cycles, we'll probably see a bit of a heating up of valuations again once capital start flowing a little bit more easily again.
Fantastic. Yeah, I agree. I think this is exactly how we see things on our side. So basically, having your role and responsibility for such a big insurance group, it's maybe the biggest in Europe. You probably see multiple companies, all the global trends, etc. So what would you consider to be the biggest 2-3 major insurance trends in the market for the next years?
There's definitely, I think, a lot of interesting and cool stuff happening from now on in the next few years. I think, the first one that I will say, which is a little bit, I think, obvious to everybody, is the whole thing of embedded insurance, right? We've been talking about embedded for ages, and I think it's still a hot topic. It will remain such because maybe no one has really cracked it yet or completely, and maybe nobody will completely, but there is definitely still a lot more work to be done, and so many more opportunities. So definitely we will be playing in that field more and more. Another one, obviously, we are observing it right now, right? I mean, there are some advanced emerging technologies that are really already disrupting, or the potential to really disrupt the insurance financial markets, such as, you know, generative AI, which is the most obvious, right? It will definitely have an impact. We now try to understand what the various impacts will be, but for sure it's not just gonna go away at some point, right? Others which maybe also they seem a little bit more cyclical. You know, there was a lot of hype of the metaverse, for example. But also there, I think, yeah, maybe it's not as immediately disruptive as generative AI, but there will still be some changes in the way that people interact with insurance, especially for younger generations. So we are also keeping an eye on the metaverse. In June, Apple should release their first augmented reality glasses, right? So there will be another boost again for the topic to come back. And then there is other stuff which is maybe a little bit more futuristic for now, but we keep an eye on it because you never know, right, what happens, you know, quantum computing, all stuff like that. So I would say advanced emerging technologies. And maybe a third one, I think everything which revolves a little bit things that perhaps reinsurers have had most to do in the moment. So everything which kind of may touch upon the reinsurance value chain can be quite well disrupted or at least improved, touch upon, right? Thinking all about, you know, for example, parametric products, also those sorts of things to do with weather derivatives, insurance-linked securities and stuff, or even just the creation of platforms where they already exist, right? But they can be, even more can be done where demand and supply of reinsurance in various ways, right? However, reinsurance can be structured, can meet more efficiently than they do now.
Yeah, this is interesting because this is something that I hear for the first time, and this is amazing because all this reinsurance business is being done the same for the last 200 years, and
yes,
this
absolutely.
absolutely never been touched. So this is great, fantastic, Danilo. This was great discussion. And thank you very much for your support, and having you here today with us is a great honor for us. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.